Okay, let's get going. I always love to do a little throwback to old Ethereum meetups, but before I get into that, first our agenda real quick here. Eniko and myself, we're both from the Ethereum Foundation. We'll do a quick little recap of 2025 in Ethereum from like some big happenings and so on, and then we'll have Matthias afterwards talk about 2025 from a data perspective. Matthias is part of the Grow the Pie team. Who has an incredible website that visualizes data on Ethereum. But you'll see much more about that later. First, I just want to give a quick, nice throwback to an old Ethereum Berlin meetup. I feel like a lot of these meetups, they're often ahead of the curve. You will see some alpha here before it actually happens. In this case here, it's 7 years ago where Vlad Sempier was talking about sharding. And obviously the vision of sharding changed a lot over the years, but last week we had Fusaka go live with PeerDAS as the headliner, which is kind of like the first time that sharding is really materializing on Ethereum. So it's very exciting, and it's cool to see that like some of these ideas that came around a long time ago, they're being developed and they're coming into something more concrete and practical, and then they're also getting shipped. And actually about 2 years ago or so, we had Francesco from the Ethereum Foundation talk about PeerDAS and scaling the L1 at a previous Ethereum Berlin meetup, but I couldn't find a picture of that, so I took the deep throwback here. And yeah, as we know, it's not just the Ethereum Berlin meetups, but it's also Berlin Blockchain Week. It's a great time to get some alpha. It's been growing a lot. It's been expanding a lot. Now it's Berlin Blockchain Weeks, or at least it was this year, and I suspect it will be that again next year, where it's happening again. It's going to be around the same time as this year, most likely. We saw DevCon has been announced already for the 16th and 17th of June. So probably around mid-June next year, there'll be multiple Berlin Blockchain Weeks. So look forward to that. Something we've been trying to do more recently is to bring a bit more consistent Ethereum community activities. One thing is reviving these Ethereum Berlin meetups, but another thing is that we've started the Berlin Community Hub, and it's essentially a co-working space. We've turned part of the Ethereum Foundation office here in Berlin into a co-working space on Wednesdays, and I'm inviting people from the community to come and co-work with us. As you can see, it's currently happening every single Wednesday. We do some co-working during the day, and we have some social hours afterwards, a little bit of a meetup, some pizza and beers and so on. And you can apply to join here if you'd like. And for those that might be interested in something more regular, more consistent, stay tuned, because we are evolving the concept a bit more, and we will have some more offerings very, very soon. Oh, sorry. Yeah, QR code is here. And of course, otherwise, if you need the form, just come to me or Eniko, and we are happy to share it with you afterwards. Here we got some great photos. Try to go out for lunch together. The first one we did it back in September. We also had beautiful weather, so we did a barbecue to kick things off. And here you can see the very concentrated work environment. And then yeah, upstairs we have this beautiful terrace where we can hang out and chill. Yeah, that's it from my side. I'll pass it over to Eniko, who's going to talk a bit more about the big happenings on Ethereum in 2025.
Mic turn around.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, perfect. It's for the recording. These talks are also recorded, by the way. I will share the QR in the end so you can watch them later and send it to your friends who are not here. Thank you so much, Martin. It was great, and thanks also for being here tonight. And bringing probably the youngest and most adorable meetup participant I've ever seen on any meetup. So thank you so much. And for leading the community here in Berlin with some other contributors. So I think 2025 was a very great year. A lot of things happened. Obviously, it's very hard to recap everything and talk about everything. I wanted to highlight a couple of things that happened this year. But yeah, a lot of other things happened. A lot of people, projects did a lot of great things in the ecosystem. So this doesn't mean that these are the only things that happened within the Ethereum ecosystem. I just wanted to quickly highlight and run through. I hope you guys find it interesting. It's a little bit technical, a little bit of everything. So yeah, so Ethereum actually had 2 hard forks this year. One of them was Spectra. Probably most of you remembers, more towards the beginning of the year. So it was activated in May. It was following the Denkun upgrade last year. And its most, so the most important parts of this was some new features to smart contract accounts, and also improving validator experience, support layer 2 scaling, and some UX improvements that's related to smart contract accounts, basically account abstraction. So basically, one of the major things that happened is EIP 7702. This is kind of like a hybrid approach that is kind of combining the simplicity of externally owned accounts and the programmability of contract-based accounts, aka smart contract accounts. This allowed transaction batching, guest sponsorship, alternative authentication, spending controls, recovery mechanisms, and a bunch of other features. I'm trying to go through these. I usually do these technical run-throughs, and I'm trying to think of what are the things that are the most important. I put a lot of things on the slide just for the slides and for the recording, but I'm not going to talk about everything, obviously. So there were, that was, from the smart contract accounts aspect, and then next important aspect was validator UX improvements. There are a couple of new EIPs that were implemented here. I think one of the most important is that the maximum balance of validator can receive rewards from is now 2,048 ETH. It was obviously before 22 ETH, you probably know this. So this enables reward compounding and also reduces the bandwidth requirement for the network. Some other layer ones, they restrict how many validators can be on the chain, for example. Ethereum doesn't do that. But this is actually making it, again, this is a good feature to reduce the bandwidth, because if the validator queue is long, then that's not good for the network. So this has a lot of other perks, but yeah, you can read more about it. I will share the blog in the end. There are some other EIPs that were also really cool and important. But I'm not going to talk about them one by one. And then the start of continuing the blob scaling, basically, right? So EIP 7691 was doubling Ethereum's blob throughput. So what does that mean? So from 3 to 6 and maximum 9. So previously it was 3. So what are blobs? Also, these are a lot of things that, if you are not familiar with, it's worth to cover. So blobs are these storage fields that, so layer 2's scale Ethereum, right? They take off the execution, they do the transactions on layer 2, but they still have to post back to layer 1, right? So they used to post back to core data, which is this more expensive data field. So, and because it's stored on the network forever, and these blobs are now these new data storage solutions. And it's been work on these in the previous forks as well. So this new EIP now allows the blob throughput is now from 3 to 6 or maximum 9. So this, what does this mean? Basically, it reduces layer 1 fees for layer 2s by 10 to 100 times. So again, it means far cheaper layer 2 transactions. So that was Spectra. And then obviously Ethereum turned 10 years. The network Ethereum this year, in this summer in July, there were a lot of meetups, a lot of celebrations around this, a lot of communities organized events. The Ethereum Foundation also gave some grants for meetups around the world. So yeah, that was also, I want to mention, I always mention this, but you guys also probably aware that, Ethereum had zero downtime. Ethereum was very reliable in the last 10 years. all the hard forks went through very well, so there were no issues. So I think that's pretty cool, and kudos to all the core developers and every contributor who contributes to building the network and layer one. I mentioned this on the previous meetup. You probably also heard about this, that there were some restructuring within the ecosystem development teams within the Ethereum Foundation. So now there are a bunch of new teams who are supporting more focused ways of support, basically, to a lot of different ecosystem participants, founder success team, academic secretariat. We do event support at Ethereum everywhere. So a lot of different focused teams who are focusing on better supporting the ecosystem. The ESP grants program was also relaunched recently. You can now, instead of these open grants that used to be open grants application at the ESP website, now there are these more targeted, more concrete either requests for proposals or wishlist items that people can apply for. These are submitted by different EF teams, either technical or non-technical. So these are a little bit more concrete and gives you a little bit of a better idea of what you can work on, what you can get funding for, and what you can apply grant for. We also been opening other Ethereum community hubs around the world, so not just Berlin, but London, at Encode Club, Dubai just opened recently at Hadron Founders Club, and Lagos is actually opening today. They have a big opening event in Lagos, so these are all community hubs, very similar concept that Martin just explained, but different locations, and obviously they are all unique. All of them will be listed on ethereum.org and the events page, the community page. So I did not include a QR for that, but I have a lot of QRs in the end, but I think this one won't be there. But if you just go to ethereum.org and the community and events, all these community hubs will be there. You can apply for co-working and see the meetups, and they are all accessible for anybody, basically. If you're traveling, if you're visiting, if you're staying in that country, you can join. DEF Connect just happened recently. Who was at DEF Connect from here? Okay, cool, a couple of you. Okay, that's good. Good crowd. Did you like it? Was it different from other? Yeah, was it different from other DEF Connects, or did you find it cool? Bigger?
That's my first.
Your first, okay, cool. Okay, amazing. So yeah, so DEF Connect is not DEF CON. I had a presentation about this last time. So DEF Connect is a more decentralized event. So DEF CON is more like a big conference, 3-4 days of content, talks organized by the Ethereum Foundation. DEF Connect is more letting people, communities, projects to organize their own events. So it's more decentralized. So far, it was the biggest global Ethereum gathering. It had its World's Fair, which was also a first at Ethereum events, this concept, and I think it was pretty cool. Also, the venue was very spread out, very different, multiple buildings. There was a lot of student and academic activation, very strong local energy, local culture. There were 18 districts, DeFi, privacy, layer 2, decentralized social hardware, let's say gaming and art. So a lot of, I think, new approaches as well in terms of what themes we are supporting and welcoming at the space. And there were so many other experiences. Just here, some numbers. There were more than 14,000 attendees. From a lot of countries. I think it's very cool that 45% was from Argentina, actually. So that's very good that the local communities and they were activated and they were participating, and that's really cool. A lot of people were first-timers like you. Yeah, so just a couple of numbers. And of course, in the end, everyone was waiting for the big announcement where the next DEF CON is going to be, because one year it's DEF CON, the next year is DEF CON. So this is the concept for now. So next year is going to be DEF CON. So it's a little bit more of a conference setup and structure. And it's going to be in Mumbai in India. So everyone's excited about that. I wanted to quickly show this recap video about DEF Connect, just to, if you were not there, just to see the mood. esta, que es que hay community hubs, distintos espacios de discusión. Eso es lo que diferencia el evento de todos los demás, que hay espacios para que la gente pueda tomar un rol activo, que tenga una experiencia inmersiva y que no sea simplemente venir a escuchar una charla e irse. Es un evento que uno tiene que vivir para sentir realmente la vibra de DevConnect.
I feel very energized, honestly. I think that it's very clear how much passion and heart and how much innovation there is within the Ethereum community.
We have a really deep focus on empowering builders, creators, communities, users, and I'm really excited about this because it creates more inclusion throughout the world. It's so great seeing people from all over the world that you connect with on X and just on social media or on Telegram. Proximity being in person allows you to really just sync with each other, and it makes you more bullish on the whole ecosystem because you're able to create deeper integrations with everyone.
Creo que es muy importante la comunidad y que la gente siempre tire para adelante y que se ayuden entre todos como para poder seguir creciendo. Y es entender que Ethereum es como un paraguas, ¿no? Que al final no importa dónde estés, nos conectan los mismos valores.
Lots of optimism in the air. It's been really nice to see the energy. And so it's been wonderful to be around so many like-minded people.
Okay, perfect. Back to the boring presentation.
That video available somewhere?
Yeah, so yeah, that's basically, you can take a picture. Yeah, it's but DevCon has a it's on X on Twitter. They have an account. So if you look for DevCon account, then you will find this video. Yep. Okay. And there is also like a full recap article if you want to read. That's if you're more of a reader, then you can read the blog as well. Okay, now the next upgrade that just happened recently was Fusaka. Who is usually following closely these upgrades, these technical upgrades? A couple of you? Okay, cool, nice, good. Yeah, so basically just recently activated on December 3rd. The most important aspects of this one is it improves layer 1 performance, again, layer 1 scaling, increases the blob throughput again, and some UX improvements at this one as well. Obviously, as Martin mentioned already, the main stars of this hard fork was PeerDAS, and also implementing these blob parameter only forks after PeerDAS, which also the first one happened, but I will mention that. So what is PeerDAS? So peer data availability sampling. This unlocks up to 8 times data throughput because it allows nodes to verify the data availability instead of downloading the entire blobs. It's still very secure because it's cryptographically guaranteeing that the full data is available across the network. So it's basically, again, giving rollups way cheaper blob fees and more spaces to grow. And then after that, as I mentioned, these block parameter only forks are implemented to safely scale the blob throughput after PeerDAS. So basically there were 2 scheduled. So one of them happened on December 9, before yesterday, I think. So it raised the per block target to 10 to 15 from 6 to 9, and another one is scheduled on January 7, which will raise it to 14 up to 21. This is the schedule, just a picture of that as well. And this is the announcement about the one that the first part that happened just yesterday. And if you're following social media, the Ethereum Foundation recently, that you can notice that there are a lot of cool videos out there recently. which I think is pretty cool for people to understand these things, on a high level. So I just kind of wanted to show this one as well about peer dust.
Introducing something fundamentally new with its peer dust technology.
That Pusaka upgrade brings peer dust.
And that's the core cornerstone of the book.
So it stands for peer data availability sampling.
This has been talked about for a long time. Actually shipping it is a huge milestone.
So to understand peer dust, you first have to understand blobs.
Blobs are where all the data goes, and we can scale up blobs tremendously. It's going to be super, super helpful for the entire ecosystem of L2s built on Ethereum.
Pusaka is basically putting in this infrastructure that's hopefully going to let us actually scale blobs almost infinitely.
At any one point in time, L2s and other blob consumers, they're onboarding many different use cases, consumer applications, institutional finance. They're going to want to have predictable low fees. And if Ethereum can't scale its data availability capacity, then we're not going to be able to keep those low fees for its users.
Ethereum can also itself use blobs, so not just the rollups. Allows Ethereum to also scale.
I'm very excited because it's the only way to achieve these billion users.
The validators, they no longer need to download the whole blob to verify the data.
Now all of the nodes aren't responsible for handling all of the data.
We'll be able to increase the block count without adding additional throughput.
The first time that we'll have a large-scale production blockchain that runs without requiring any single node to process all of the data. We're all excited to see it finally launch.
Okay, so that's on peer dust. Again, here is the video if anyone wants to watch this, take a picture. Should I wait? No? Okay. Okay, and there were a couple of other things. So again, scaling layer 1. There were some other optimizations like EIP 7883, and then 7825 is the transaction gas limit cap. There are a bunch of advantages of all of these, but yeah, let's not just go through this one by one because we have limited time. Yeah, so a lot of things. This one, for example, was removing legacy components that are no longer needed. The gas limit increase is kind of an important one, raises default gas limit to 60 million. This enables more layer 1 execution capacity, but it was very well tested. At the same time, I think there were concerns about this. And then improving UX, as I mentioned, that's also an important part of this hard fork. Yeah, this is more related to the EVM, but yeah, not going to go through all of this. You guys can just read in the end. I will put the block QR here. And yeah, so all these recordings are uploaded to the YouTube channel. If you want to scan this one, you can watch them later. We also have a Twitter account, so you can get all the updates about the next meetups here. And because, yeah, we are running out of time, I will just show this one quickly. The POAP, if you're a collector, then scan this QR code and you can have your December POAP. And I will pass it on to our next speaker. And please don't go anywhere because let's finish the program quickly, and then we will have some more time in the end to chit chat and network. We are a little bit behind with the program. So yes.
Can you go 2 slides back?
Sure. The blog. Yeah, this one here. All right. Okay, so that's it from my part. And we're just going to do a quick turnaround of the speaker, and please stay at your seat.